I got a great one for you today. It's the best of the rest. Not too long ago, we started counting down the top television theme songs from the 60s, 70s, the 80s, even the 90s. You guys loved it, but I got lambasted. Or is it lambasted? Well, anyway, for a few oversights, I got ripped apart by a few people in the comments. Not a few, a lot. So for this episode, I'm going to right the wrongs. That's right. I got 8 more iconic television themes that deserve some serious love, including one that opens with Hopscotch Chant, a classic TV song that actually came from a children's jump rope song. No one knows what the hell it means. There's also a one-hit wonder that's outshined the show that it came from 100 times over. It's become bigger than the show itself by far. In fact, it was more requested than Journey or AC/DC in its day. And finally, there's the theme that they change every single season of its show's 8-year run. It's actually the biggest show on TV, and now almost no one can bear to watch it because one person ruined it for all of us. Plus, there's the song that was about female empowerment that feminists hated, but it sold 12 million posters. We got a lot of great stories coming up next on Professor of Rock. Hey, music junkies, Professor of Rock, always here to celebrate the greatest artists and the greatest songs of all time. You know, if you ever had that Evel Knievel toy and created jumps just for it, you're going to dig this channel of deep musical nostalgia. Make sure to subscribe below right now. All right, today we're counting down 8 more of the greatest TV theme songs of all time, the best of the rest. Here's a sneak peek of what you'll be hearing and seeing. But this time around, I'm going to stick to the 70s and the 80s because there were a few oversights and you guys let me hear about them. Actually, one of them I just plain forgot, but I'm going to right the wrongs here. You guys were right, especially on 2 of them. And I'll admit to that as we go on here. But this is the best of the rest TV theme song countdown. We're going to get started. Kicking things off at number 8. Got the Airwolf theme song, a killer Cold War fantasy with rollerblades and synthesizers. Where could you go wrong? The show followed Jan Michael Vincent as Stringfellow Hawk, a moody Vietnam vet flying a top-secret supersonic attack helicopter for a covert branch of the U.S. government. Airwolf was all high-octane missions and packed enough firepower to shake living rooms across the country. Even though at first it had a bit of competition. Does anyone remember Blue Thunder? Actually, just before Airwolf's debut, ABC launched a rival helicopter show spun off from the 1983 Roy Scheider film Blue Thunder. However, the show crashed and burned after, I think it was like 11 episodes. Airwolf, on the other hand, lifted off, thanks to better writing, a much cooler chopper, and one of the most pulse-pounding theme songs of the decade. It would last for 4 seasons, called it quits in 1987. Now, the original score for the theme song leaned toward traditional orchestral fare, but creator Donald Belisario wanted something modern and fierce. Enter Sylvester Levay, a European composer with pop sensibilities and a background in electronic music. Levay tossed out the strings and he brought in a battalion of synths and pounding drums. And the result, of course, was unforgettable. By season 2, Airwolf had one of the most instantly recognizable intros on television. And then there was the extended cut. This was so cool. LeVay added more sections, long sequenced arpeggios, variations on the main riff, and blistering electric guitar licks layered over the synthesizers. But here's the thing. For more than a decade, fans couldn't actually own or buy this song. I mean, not unless they recorded it using their VCR and a VHS tape, right? You record it from TV. No official soundtrack was released during the show's original run, and it was a real missed opportunity. However, all that changed in the late 90s when a Northern Irish superfan named Mark J. Cairns, he spent 5 years reconstructing the score by ear. Crazy. Actually, Mark ended up teaming up with LeVay to release Airwolf themes in 1999, a 73-minute passion project that became the show's first real album. Today, like the helicopter itself, Airwolf's theme still flies high as ever. The music is a sleek, nostalgic gateway back to one of the best parts of 80s television. So coming in at number 7, we'll see if you can guess it from the first line. Love, exciting and new, come aboard, we're expecting you. Yeah, we had to go with the Love Boat theme. With those opening words, an entire generation knew exactly what time it was. It was time for love. Love. Each week, from 1977 to 1986, this glossy cruise ship fantasy docked in living rooms across America, promising stories of heartbreak and happy endings aboard the Pacific Princess. Did I really say that? And before the first guest star even stepped on deck, you know that the Love Boat theme song was already stuck in your head. It wasn't mine. Exciting and new. The show's tone was part comedy, part romance, and part drama. Set on a luxury liner with a rotating cast of passengers and stars, the Love Boat gave its viewers an escapist experience for sure. Captain Stubbing, bartender Isaac, Doc, Gopher, and cruise director Julie, they were the core crew, always steering us toward love and laughter. Sorry, I had to go there. Yeah, the show and the theme were cheesy, they were sentimental, but at the very least, the song was irresistible, let's be honest. Composed by Charles Fox with lyrics by Paul Williams, the same Paul Williams who wrote Rainbow Connection and We've Only Just Begun and so many other great songs.
They will find it, the Rainbow Connection. Before the rising sun.
The Love Boat theme was written primarily to sell the fantasy. Originally, Fox put together a simple instrumental for the 1976 pilot, but executive producer Aaron Spelling wanted more. He wanted a full-blown pop song to match the show's charm. And Williams, he delivered lyrics so sugary, it was kind of hard to take him seriously. But that was part of the magic, right? And it had to be cheesy. It was the late 70s, early 80s. Sweetest reward, let it flow. Musically, the theme is pure showbiz glam. Orchestral flourishes, soft horns, and a swinging rhythm. Now, to bring the lyrics to life, they tapped Jack Jones, a Vegas-style crooner with 2 Grammys under his belt. Jones sang it with booming confidence and enough camp to make it stick. I mean, seriously, he completely owned this thing. He even released it as a single in 1979 and it placed at number 37 on the U.S. Adult Contemporary chart. Yeah, love. Now, Jack Jones has poked fun at the song during live performances, but he still sings it. Because honestly, that's what the fans come for. And with a big-time career, the song released dozens of albums and hundreds of songs. This cheesy TV theme, it's his most famous and it's his most beloved. There's no question. The show had a long run, and so the theme evolved with the times. Charo, who practically lived on the Love Boat, recorded a disco version in 1978. And then in the final season, Dionne Warwick stepped in to give it an R&B makeover. But, let's be real. Jack Jones' original version is the gold standard. And today the love theme, it's kind of a punchline, but it's also a pop culture treasure. Campy anthem that we all know by heart. Critics may have rolled their eyes, but audiences, they boarded it every week for 9 seasons and over 250 episodes. And that opening song was one of the biggest reasons why, and one that takes us back every single time. So I want to take a moment and mention today's sponsor, ZipRecruiter. I liken hiring the right people to forming the perfect band. I mean, you want the best talent, the right chemistry, and a fiery passion to go all the way to the top. That's hard to come by in a pile of resumes, right? Or waiting for the right candidate to apply, or even finding the right match, especially if they're not actively looking for a job. Well, the future of hiring looks much brighter because ZipRecruiter's latest tools and features help speed up finding the right people for your roles. So you save valuable time. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. at ZipRecruiter.com/rock. R-O-C-K. With ZipRecruiter's new advances, you can easily find and connect with qualified candidates in minutes. And with over 320,000 new resumes added every month, your talent pool grows. That enables you to reach more potential hires and fill those roles a lot faster. Use ZipRecruiter and save time hiring. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. It's great. So if you go to ZipRecruiter.com/rock right now, you can try it for free. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/rock. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Coming in at number 6, we've got the after-hours courtroom comedy that marched to its own funky beat. Talking about Night Court. When Night Court premiered on NBC in January of '84, I don't think anyone saw it coming. There's nothing else like it on TV. Of course, the show followed Judge Harold T. Stone, better known as Harry Stone, who made plenty of trips to the bar at Cheers. Loved it when he was on Cheers.
Okay, what do you think, Sam?
There's no such thing as a $30 bill,
You want to bet?
He was a young, eccentric jurist presiding over Manhattan's late-night arraignments. I guess he made trips to Boston as well because of Cheers. He wore sneakers under his robe. He cracked one-liners between cases, and he loved magic tricks and, of course, Mel Torme.
Speak to me, Mel.
This wasn't your average courtroom, though, and this wasn't your average sitcom. Creator Reinhold Weege, he based the show on the real-life chaos in New York's actual night court where bizarre cases and colorful judges were actually the norm. Weege wanted something zany, he wanted something heartfelt, and something really unbelievable. And Harry Anderson was the perfect fit for the lead. A real-life magician and comedian, Harry Anderson took the role, and he was just unnatural. God rest his soul.
Tortoise nervosa.
Surrounding him was a killer ensemble. Classic lineup, of course, included John Larroquette as sleazy prosecutor Dan Fielding, Marky Post as Christine Sullivan. I, along with many other Gen X kids, had a crush on her. Rest her soul as well. Of course, there was also Richard Mole as the bailiff Bull, Marsha Warfield as Roz, and Charles Robinson as the court clerk Mac. So many great characters. But the real hook for the show, that would be the theme song. Instead of a sing-along sitcom jingle, Night Court kicked off with a funky bass riff, a snappy hi-hat, and some real smooth sax. The music was composed by Jack Elliott, a seasoned TV composer who'd worked on Barney Miller, and it featured saxophonist and jazz legend Ernie Watts, who played with Marvin Gaye and the Tonight Show Band. Bass duties were handled by Kip Sophos, whose punchy slap-style bass put the theme song on the map years before Seinfeld, the bass intro. The music instantly transported you to a version of New York where the streets never sleep, and neither does the courthouse for that matter. Every night, the strangest defendants would pass through that courtroom, pickpockets, nudists, cult leaders, and Harry Stone's empathy and antics. That's what held it all together. The theme queued you up for anything. Even as the cast evolved over 9 seasons and nearly 200 episodes, the music remained untouched. It's part of the show's DNA for sure. That groove is signaled weirdness and also warmth and unpredictability. It was the heartbeat of the series, and when NBC revived Night Court in 2023, they knew better than to mess with perfection. The new series kept the original music spirit alive, and they reworked the arrangement by John Larroquette's son, actually. It was definitely a nod to the past, the same slap bass, the same sax lines, just with a bit of a modern sheen. The Night Court theme still transports us back to the most entertaining courtroom of the entire 80s. Well, believe it or not, at number 5, I've got one of the most feel-good, can't-get-it-out-of-your-head TV themes of all time, one of the best one-hit wonders of the 80s as well. Talk about the greatest American hero. And you might remember that I gave this one an honorable mention on our previous 80s TV theme episode, and I got destroyed for it. In fact, I got more hate mail or hate comments, whatever you want to call them, about leaving this out than any other countdown we've done. I got hundreds and hundreds of comments. I got lots of emails as well. The most in the history of this channel. It's crazy. Honestly, though, you were all correct. This theme deserved a turn in the full spotlight instead of just an honorable mention. All right, so premiering in 1981, The Greatest American Hero, it told the story of Ralph Hinckley, the mild-mannered school teacher who's given a red super suit by aliens and promptly loses the instruction manual. It's actually a great premises. I don't know why they haven't made this into a full-blown movie.
Look at what's happened to me.
Suddenly, without the instructions, he's flying very badly. He's crashing into walls and trying to save the day. The show may have only run for 3 seasons, but that theme song, oh man, that thing soared.
Suddenly I'm up on top of the world.
The show's creators wanted a song that could not only work as a theme, but it's catchy enough to take over radio. So they turned to the king of TV themes, Mr. Mike Post, and his longtime collaborator, Stephen Geyer. By this point, he'd already written the themes for, The Rockford Files, Hill Street Blues, and Chips, just to name a few.
See Surplus Store, corner People's Drive, 124th Street.
And for this gig, Mike Post had a secret weapon in his mind, Joey Scarbury. So Joey was a journeyman studio singer that he'd worked with off and on for years. At this point, Scarbury had never had a hit, but Post knew the guy, and he knew he had the voice. When he stepped into the booth and belted out, "Believe It or Not, I'm Walking on Air," he did not disappoint.
Believe it or not, it's just me.
The song felt heroic, heartfelt, and it had a hit written all over it. Originally, the theme was just a minute long, TV intro. But when the show started getting attention, the phone lines blew up. Everyone wanted the song. It got more requests on radio than Journey or Foreigner or AC/DC. So Elektra rushed out a full version of the song knowing this. Believe It or Not climbed all the way to number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1981 and it stayed there for weeks.
Believe it or not, I'm walking on air.
Joey Scarbury, virtually unknown before this, suddenly had a giant hit on his hands. Not bad for a guy singing about a flying school teacher. Scarbury also sang short musical interludes within the show, 30 to 45-second original cues. They were all written by Mike Post and Geyer. And Joey even released an album titled America's Greatest Hero in 1981, hoping to ride that wave. But nothing else really came from it. He just never matched it.
This is too good to be true.
Still, the afterlife of this song was legendary. I mean, you remember in 1997, Seinfeld turned it into a classic gag. When George Costanza rewrote the song for his answer machine as "Believe It or Not, George isn't at home. Please leave a message at the beep."
Believe it or not, George.
And actually, interesting story. Jason Alexander sang it so well that the show's producers had to tell him to intentionally sing it worse so that it would be funny.
Isn't at home, please leave a message at the beep.
Today, the theme to The Greatest American Hero is one of those TV theme songs that it really won up the show. The series may have ended in 1983, but believe it or not, the music has never touched down. It was a bigger hit than the show by a long, long ways.
Believe it or not, it's just me.
All right, for our number 4 pick, I got a lot of feedback about this one too, why I didn't include it. It's a controversial pick, but The Cosby Show. Before you skip past it, hear me out here. I know it's impossible to mention this one without bringing to mind the heinous crimes of Bill Cosby, but here's the thing. We're not paying tribute to him here. The segment is about the rest of the Huxtable family, the actors, the musicians, and the creators who helped shape a cultural touchstone. It's a show that brought something truly revolutionary to American television back in the 80s, and it was the number 1 show for a long time. When this show premiered on NBC in September of 1984, it completely flipped the script. The Huxtables were the ultimate American family. Cliff Huxtable was the doctor, Claire was a sharp, no-nonsense attorney, and the 5 kids, from precocious Rudy to free-spirited Denise, were all funny, relatable, and full of life. And of course, Malcolm Jamal Warner as Theo. We just lost him. For 8 seasons, the Huxtable household was the place to be on Thursday nights. The show was must-see TV before there was must-see TV. It hit the top 3 in its first year and was the #1 show in America for the next 5 straight seasons. And one of its most unforgettable elements was the ever-changing theme song. Unlike most sitcoms that stuck to one version of an intro song, this theme made its intro really a statement. It updated it season after season after season. Each version carried the same, melodic DNA, but everything else changed. The tempo, the instrumentation, even the genre. From jazz funk to vocal percussion, the Huxtables danced into every new season with a new groove, a new theme song. The original track, titled Kiss Me, had a smooth, funky vibe with tight horns and a snapping rhythm. It was warm, it was classy, and it was full of personality, just like the family it was introducing. Then came the reinventions. One season featured New Orleans brass, another leaned into Caribbean flavor. There was all sorts of things here. Season 4 ditched instruments altogether, letting Bobby McFerrin take over with an improvised a cappella version. Just his voice as the instrument, and then a few years later, he would unleash one of the worst songs ever with Don't Worry, Be Happy. That's another story, though. But other seasons brought in sax giant Grover Washington Jr., and given the theme a soulful edge. There was even a full orchestral take that made the show feel like a Broadway opening, if you will. With each musical shift came new visuals. The cast dancing in tuxes, grooving on a soundstage, or strutting down a digitally animated city street. By the time the show signed off in April of '92, The Cosby Show had changed perceptions and redefined what a TV family could look like. And that's part of the show that we should remember. Sadly, it's mostly been ruined due to its lead. But you know what? Let's move on and just remember the show for the incredible cast. At number 3, we're making our dreams come true with Laverne and Shirley.
We're gonna do it. Give us any chance, we'll take it.
It's one of the most joyful, hardworking sitcoms of the 70s and home to one of TV's most infectious theme songs. Laverne and Shirley launched in 1976 as a surprise spin-off of Happy Days, right? Following 2 Milwaukee bottle cappers who were just trying to pay rent and live life on their terms.
These days are all
Penny Marshall played Laverne DeFazio, tough-talking, sarcastic, and always rocking the signature L on her sweater. And Cindy Williams was Shirley Feeney, bubbly and bright-eyed. I had a crush on both of them in different ways. Together, they were best friends, roommates, and the heart of a sitcom that celebrated working-class women with big dreams. The chemistry was instant, and so was the show's success. Laverne and Shirley was actually inspired by, get this, a real-life brawl, a chick fight, if you will. A creator, Gary Marshall, revealed that years before the show, he once watched his date get into a fist fight with another woman in Brooklyn. I guess this other girl was talking smack, and his date turned to him and said, "Hold my coat," and she then proceeded to beat up this other girl. And Gary was stunned. He said, "I'd never seen 2 girls fist fight before, and it really fascinated me." Marshall took note of this tough-as-nails quality, and it led to the creation of this show. Laverne and Shirley quickly climbed the Nielsen charts, eventually surpassing Happy Days to become the #1 show in America in both its 3rd and 4th seasons. For a brief window in time, it was the most watched series on TV. And while the comedy and cast were a huge part of that, let's not kid ourselves here. The theme song really sealed the deal. Before the first note even played, viewers got hit with the unforgettable cold open.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Schlemiel, Schlemazel.
It was actually a real childhood chant from Penny Marshall's Bronx neighborhood when she was growing up. It came from a child's jump rope chant. Some say hopscotch, but others say it was a jump rope chant. No one really knows what the hell it means, but that was the point. It felt personal, like an inside joke that you were suddenly in on. But then the song kicked in, Making Our Dreams Come True. Written by Charles Fox and Norman Gimbel, the same team behind the Happy Days theme. They knew how to pack an emotional wallop into 60 seconds, and man, this one delivered. Sung by Cindy Greco, the track is pure pop optimism. The song was released as a single in 1976 and it climbed the Billboard charts, peaking at number 25. The fact that it actually even broke into the top 40 proved just how much the tune resonated outside of TV land. It wasn't just an opening jingle. It was a pop anthem that mirrored the spirit of the show itself. A time capsule of 70s optimism and sisterhood. Laverne and Shirley didn't promise glamour or perfection. It promised hustle and heart and humor. It's been parodied many times in pop culture.
Dreams come true for me and you.
All right, sliding in the number 2 spot, it's one that is supposed to be about female empowerment, but pisses a lot of feminists off. I'll explain why in a second. But at the bridesmaid position, I gotta go with Charlie's Angels, the theme song. Man, this one's the ultimate blend of style, action, and mystery. When Charlie's Angels premiered on ABC in 1976, it flipped the cop drama genre on its head. 3 beautiful young women trained at the police academy, but stuck doing dead-end jobs. And now they get a second chance, working undercover for a mysterious voice on a speakerphone named Charlie. The setup was outrageous, and the impact, it was instant.
Away from all that, and now they work for me. My name is Charlie.
Played by Kate Jackson, Jacqueline Smith, and breakout star Farrah Fawcett, the original trio lit up television screens like nothing had before.
Once upon a time, there were 3 little girls who went to the police academy.
In its first season, Charlie's Angels ranked number 5 in the Nielsen ratings, the most popular new show in America. Audiences could not get enough of these glamorous detectives who used disguises, martial arts, and their brains to take down criminals, all while never smudging their lip gloss, right? And looking incredible. But there was definitely some pushback. Critics were vicious. They called the show Jiggle TV, mocking the skimpy outfits and bubblegum plots and the song. Farrah herself joked, when the show was number 3, I figured it was our acting. When it went to number 1, I decided it could only be because none of us was wearing a bra. Her words. Still, the numbers didn't lie. For millions, the Angels weren't just eye candy, they were aspirational. Feminists hated that aspect of it. Of course, Farrah became a pop icon overnight, thanks also in part to that red swimsuit poster, right? You know what I'm talking about. Everybody had it. It would sell more than 12 million copies. But Farrah would leave the show after just 1 season, after contract negotiations collapsed over merch revenue. Farrah was offered 2%. She wanted 10%, so she walked, and ABC sued. But the 2 parties settled, and Farrah, she later returned for guest spots. However, by the early 80s, the show's magic was kind of fading. Ratings dropped, and after 115 episodes, Charlie's Angels was canceled in 81. But the show left a massive pop culture footprint. Dolls, lunchboxes, posters, comic books, you name it. The Angels were everywhere. What a stupid choice not to give Farrah her 10%. The greed of the higher-ups. Don't even get me started on that. I mean, it's one of the biggest selling posters ever. I believe it was the biggest selling poster of the entire 70s. And you won't just give her 10%. It's crazy. But let's talk about the theme song, Secret Agent Cool. It absolutely pulled you in. Composed by Jack Elliott and Alan Ferguson, this wasn't the typical show, cop show jingle, really. It was cinematic and mysterious, building from low-pulsing bass lines and spy thriller strings into sharp orchestral stabs. No lyrics, no vocals, just tension and polish, right? It told you that this show was about danger and beauty. Think James Bond with heels and hairspray, and it takes you back to the 70s in a flash. Now, in hindsight, Charlie's Angels was a bit of a contradiction, part exploitation, but also part empowerment. The concept was amazing. It would inspire tons of copycats and revivals, the 2000s movies, the 2019 reboot. But nothing touched the cool of that original cast, or that opening theme for that matter. As Charlie himself would say at the end of every mission, good work, Angels. Indeed.
Bye, Charlie.
All right, I got to go with an honorable mention before we name our number one, and I got to go with that funky bass line from Barney Miller. Who would have known that a show with cops doing paperwork would work so well? But man, this song rocks. All right, here we are. We've made it to the top of today's countdown, and coming in at number one, I have the show that I got the most comments about not being in our last 80s TV theme countdown. You were pissed, and the truth is, I don't blame you. I have to admit, I just completely screwed up. I plain forgot when I was counting them down. Shame on me. But I'm right and wrong here. And number one, I've got Magnum P.I. When this one hit CBS in December of 1980, it wasn't just another detective show. Magnum P.I. delivered car chases, military flashbacks, and heart with a mustache. Lots of mustache. The series, of course, followed Thomas Magnum, played by Tom Selleck perfectly, a Vietnam vet who ditched his rigid military life for the laid-back vibes of Hawaii. He lived in the estate of a mysterious novelist named Robin Masters. He drove a cherry red Ferrari 308 GTS, and he solved cases his own way. Magnum spent his days dodging responsibility and drinking beer on the beach. But when things got serious, so did he. And let's be clear, this role fit Tom Selleck like a glove. But maybe in an alternate reality, we might associate Tom Selleck with a different 80s icon, Indiana Jones. That's because, as many of you know, before Harrison Ford snagged the role, Tom Selleck nailed the Raiders of the Lost Ark screen test.
Hello, Mary.
However, CBS would not release him from his Magnum contract. Let your brain chew on that one for a minute. Ironically, production on Magnum was delayed due to a writer's strike, meaning Tom could have actually filmed both projects. But, I don't think we can complain. Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones, and Tom Selleck is Magnum P.I. There's that. Let's talk about that theme song. Some people don't remember this, but we didn't get the classic Magnum P.I. theme until it was the 12th episode, right, of the first season. The original pilot used kind of a slower, jazzier score by Ian Freebairn Smith. But as you can imagine, it didn't hit the mark, so CBS called in the big guns, talking Mike Post and Pete Carpenter. That's right, another iconic theme courtesy of the great Mike Post. I got to interview him. From those first punchy guitar stabs and drum fills, you know exactly what the show is all about. The Magnum P.I. theme, it's a pure shot of adrenaline. Comes at you at the speed of a Ferrari. It's fast, it's stylish, and it's totally confident, just like Magnum himself. I mean, come on, the music was designed to pump you up, and it works every single time. The Magnum P.I. theme has become so iconic that even casual fans recognize it instantly. I mean, it's been remixed, covered, parodied, and honored in the Magnum P.I. reboot, which of course gave it a modern twist. Magnum P.I. ran for 8 seasons and over 160 episodes, bowing out on May 1st of 1988. But I tell you what, the music still hits just as hard now as it ever did. So there you have it, my top 8 of the 80s and 70s. Top 8 of the 80s, that's why I said 80s first. And I'm sorry, I got killed on Greatest American Hero and Magnum P.I., so I righted the wrong here. But what do you think? What are your memories of these songs? Did I leave any out? I think that these are the best of the best. I'd love to re-rank them in the future, all of them, what the real true top 10 is. Maybe not on a show, but maybe on a short or something. Let me know if you'd like to see that. But what are your memories of the shows? What else should we cover in the TV themes category? I got to interview Mike Post. But make sure to leave us a comment and make sure to click the subscribe button if you want to be a part of our community. Till next time, 3 chords and the truth, my friends.